There's a moment that happens to all of us eventually. You walk into a restaurant, you're excited, you're hungry, and maybe you've been thinking about this meal all day. You sit down at the table, the menus arrive, everything feels good. But then you open the menu, and suddenly things feel different. The burger, it's $18. Fries, another 6. Soda, $4. And somehow the menu has words like artisan, house crafted, and locally sourced aioli. Now listen, I love restaurants. Restaurants are one of the greatest inventions humans, well, have ever created. Someone else cooks, someone else cleans. You sit there eating mozzarella sticks, doing a cheese pull like royalty. That's civilization working exactly as intended. But lately, restaurants have started doing some things that make you pause mid-bite and think, wait a minute. What exactly is going on here? Because restaurants today, they've gotten weird. And what do I mean by weird? And I'm a weirdo, so I'm allowed to call somebody else and something else weird. So I'm talking like $20 burgers, mandatory service fees, QR code menus, condiments that cost money, and steaks that cost more than a car payment. So today, on Stay Out of My Fridge, we're going to dive into the wild world of modern restaurants. Real stories, real restaurants, real news headlines. By the end of this episode, we're going to answer one question. Have restaurants officially lost their minds? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Out of My Fridge. The voice you're hearing, it's me, it's Matt, it's Beard Laws. And joining me as always is nobody this week. Turns out, kids, super busy. I'm super busy. Wife, super busy, so I don't have anybody, right? Well, that's where you're wrong. So what I'm going to do throughout the episode, I'm going to bring in the co-host of the Triple T podcast, Luther Grimwood, in for a couple of segments just to kind of mix things up, have a little bit of some banter so you don't have to listen to my voice for the next 20 minutes. But with that being said, there is something that I would love for you to do is to maybe check out the friends of the show, because without them, the show wouldn't go on. Live Bearded, obviously you see this beard, and if you're listening only, well, I still feel like you could close your eyes and picture this beard. You've seen it once, twice, or thrice. The beard is fueled by Live Bearded. I love the products. Right now I'm wearing the 1880. It's a staple of the everyday collection. It's just what I'm digging right now, all right? I got the beard oil, the beard butter, and the beard wash, and the beard conditioner, and maybe the deodorant, and maybe a bar soap. Every part of me smells like it today. Do I mix them up? Yeah, I do. I don't want to smell the same every day, even though it's fantastic. But it helps grow this fantastic beard. So if you would love to grow a beard like your own, not like mine, because this is mine, grow your own, head on over to livebearded.com. Use code BEARDLAWS. You can thank me later. Also, check out our friends Squatch Juice. SquatchJuice.com/beardlaws. Stay hydrated. Stay focused. Have all the energy, or without the energy, just the focus. Do you like pina coladas? That's not just a song, that's a flavor. So good. I dig it every day, and honestly, I feel so much better. I feel fueled, I feel hydrated, I feel mentally better. Adding Squatch Juice to my daily routine. Check it out. Again, if you would like, squatchjuice.com/beardlaws. All right, let's talk about something. Or you know what? Luther, are you ready for this? I feel like you're backstage and you're ready to go. Luther, my dude, what is up? I was just telling everybody how amazing Live Bearded was, Squatch Juice was, and we got a crazy episode. So thanks for joining me, man.
Oh, just hanging backstage, adjusting my beard for maximum volume. And hey, when you name drop legends like Live Bearded and Squatch Juice, you know it's about to get wild. I'm ready for whatever crazy ride you got in store. Let's rock this.
So what we're going to do today is, the goal, I guess, is to leave everybody, me, you, and anybody listening, the answer to a question. Have restaurants officially lost their minds?
Oh, now that's a delicious question, pun intended. Between pickle-flavored milkshakes and $50 deconstructed salads, I'd say some definitely took a detour into madness. Let's dig up some wild examples and see if we still have our sanity by the end.
All right, let's start off with a story that went viral around the world. Not sure if you've seen it, and I'm going to butcher some names, so I'm going to really lean on you as this is closer to your part of the world, Luther. All right, we're going to start with a little bit of a steakhouse in London called Nisre Steakhouse. How do you really say it?
Ah, you're talking about Nusa et Steakhouse. You know, the one owned by the salt sprinkling legend himself, Salt Bay. I got your back on the name, and I'm already curious. What on earth did they do now?
Oh, if you're curious now, you wait, buddy, because yes, you're correct. Owned by the one, the only Salt Bay. I honestly wasn't sure who it was, so I had to look up Salt Bay. If anybody else wants to see what he does, go ahead, look at the screen right now over on the YouTube. And this is Salt Bay in 4K. Ooh, look at that. Did you see that? That was good, right?
Oh, I saw it, and I swear the salt sparkles more in 4K. The man turned seasoning into a performance art, right? So, what did this steakhouse do? Charge extra for the salt toss theatrics. I'm bracing myself.
For anybody that doesn't know, too, there is the meme. He's the Salt Bay does like the little, what is it, a gooseneck thing with a little bit of a sprinkle of some salt. How would you describe that?
Oh, I'd call it the salt cascade of flair. He does that swan-like bend of the elbow, flicks his wrist, and lets the salt rain down like it's glitter at a concert. The man turns seasoning into a trademark move. What a legend.
Yeah, what a legend indeed. So, for anybody that is not able to see Salt Bay in 4K, you've probably seen him. He's got the sunglasses, he's got the tight white shirt, and like Luther said, the dramatic salt sprinkle. Now, this restaurant, which is what's the name of it again, Luther? Nusser et.
You've got it. Nusa et Steakhouse. Just think Nusa like his name and et like et voila, here's your steak. But let's be real, whether it's the name or the salt, they sprinkle in some drama.
You aren't kidding. So, it's located in Knightsbridge, London. How do you think they came up with that name, Knightsbridge?
What I like to think is where knights went across a bridge on their way to dinner. I mean, if you've got a steakhouse that fancy, you might as well imagine a knight in shining armor crossing over to get a gold-plated tomahawk steak. Sounds epic, right?
It does sound pretty epic. And it's one of the wealthiest areas in the city, I do believe. And in 2021, customers, they started to post their receipts online. And, well, Luther, one of them went viral. The bill for dinner was 1,800 euro, which is what, like $2,400 in American US dollars?
Oh, that is one pricey sprinkle of salt. For that kind of cash, I'd expect the cow to personally thank me for eating it. But hey, when you dine in Knightsbridge with Salt Bay, you're not just paying for dinner, you're paying for a front row seat to edible theater.
Edible theater, $2,400 for dinner. I couldn't imagine. I almost have a heart attack when we go to fast food chains and it's about 50 to 60 bucks. But the most expensive item on this was a golden tomahawk steak, which was priced at roughly 850 US dollars, which is 630 euro.
I mean, if that tomahawk steak didn't come with a personal gold mine, I'd be a little disappointed. But hey, you're not eating just a steak. You're chewing on luxury. Though honestly, I'd probably ask for a doggy bag just to frame it.
Ooh, you're telling me a restaurant this fancy? There's no way they have doggy bags, right? What do they? What do they use to take out the food here? Some fancy biodegradable. They should actually bring it home like a delivery service and like bring you home, it home. $2,400. They should fly you home. They should fly me all the way back to America for that bill.
Honestly, for 2,400, I'd expect them to wrap my leftovers in a tiny gold parachute and gently drop it into my fridge. Honestly, though, if they ever start offering a flight home with the steak, sign me up. First class with extra salt, please.
$850 for one steak. And here's the wild part: the steak was covered in edible gold leaf. Gold. Now, gold might look impressive, but scientifically speaking, gold doesn't have any flavor. It tastes like absolutely nothing. So what you're paying for is essentially a steak-wearing jewelry.
A steak wearing jewelry. Now that's fashion forward dining. I mean, who doesn't want their meal to be red carpet ready? But let's be real. If I'm paying for edible gold, I at least want it to come with a free treasure map. Otherwise, I'll stick to the flavor and leave the bling to my wristwatch.
Yeah, and listen, I like steak. You know what? I love steak. But if I'm paying $850 for a steak, that cow better have personally written me a thank you letter before it made its way onto the table. I mean, at that price point, I just don't want steak. I want childhood photos of the cow. I want to know its hobbies. Did this cow play sports? Did it go to college? Because if I'm spending $850, the cow and I, we should have a relationship, or we should have a friendship. We should, I don't even know what I'm getting at here. I mean, I go to the store, and if I'm the type of guy that's looking for the quick reduced sale steaks, and I'm gonna cook it that night. $850 for a steak with some gold? Unbelievable.
I'm with you. For 850, I want the cow's life story, its favorite song, and maybe a heartfelt goodbye. And yeah, I'm also that guy stalking the discount meat section like it's a treasure hunt. But hey, at least we know our steaks are more about flavor than fashion. Gold is for jewelry, steak is for eating.
Yeah, $850 for a steak. That cow better have one beautiful, impressive LinkedIn profile. Now, to be fair, if you're eating at a place like this or any, I don't even know if you can call them luxury restaurants, they got to be more elevated than that. Like Luther mentioned, you are going to pay for the experience, the presentation, the atmosphere, but it raises a serious question. At what point does food stop being food and start becoming performance art? Because a lot of restaurants today feel less like dinner and more like attending a culinary theater show, right?
Exactly. When you need front row tickets to your meal, you start wondering if you should clap between courses. Don't get me wrong, I love a little flair. But when the steak costs more than my monthly bills, I'm thinking, can we at least get a halftime show? I guess in the end, we just want that perfect balance. A little razzle dazzle, but still something you don't need to auction off your car to enjoy.
Yeah, we just want a little Bad Bunny while we're eating some steak, right? Anyways, let's go from steak to burgers. All right, because burgers used to be the most dependable food in America. They were cheap, they were simple, they were reliable. But that era's gone. Let me give you a quick little example here. There's a famous restaurant in New York City called Minetta Tavern. It's been around since the 1930s. It's a classic French-style steakhouse. They serve a burger called the Black Label Burger, and it's widely considered one of the best burgers in America. But the price? $38. $38 for one burger.
38 butts for a burger. That thing better sing me the national anthem before I take a bite. But hey, if it's been around since the 30s, maybe that burger comes with a bit of historical wisdom. But still, $38. I hope it at least solves one of my life problems on the side.
Well, which problem do you think that it would have? You only have one life problem? That must be nice. And I know we just went from a $850 steak to a $38 burger, and you're probably going, $38 isn't that bad. Well, compared to $850, but it's also not at Salt Bay restaurant with gold, right?
True, no edible gold in sight, just classic good old NYC hustle. But at $38, that burger should at least tell me I'm doing great in life. And yeah, just because it's not $8.50 doesn't mean I'm ready to frame the receipt. But hey, at least we know the burger is probably pretty darn tasty.
That's true, and I'm sure it's delicious. I'm sure it's incredible. But, I mean, burgers, they used to be the thing you ordered when you didn't really want to spend a lot of money. And at $38, it seems like more of an investment now. And it's not just fancy restaurants, because according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, restaurant food prices have increased about 25% between 2019 and 2024. And that's why burgers everywhere, they jumped in price too.
It's true. Burgers used to be the I'm treating my wallet kindly meal. Now I half expect to finance one. But hey, in this economy, even burgers are getting an ego. Still, whether it's $5 or $38, let's just hope it still comes with that classic, greasy, delicious satisfaction. And maybe a side of fries that don't require a load.
Yeah, and even I guess now that I'm thinking about it, $38, yes, it's a pretty wild price, but when you're going to like the King of Burgers or the Donald's of Mick in places like that, I mean, I was looking at a menu in Utica, New York recently, and there was burgers on there for 12, 13. I mean, even the value menus and stuff like that at these other fast food restaurants, they're almost 15 to $20 a meal. So maybe 38 at a New York City high-end restaurant really isn't that terrible. I mean, let's be honest, a burger, it used to be fast food. Now, at $38, it's almost like it's a financial decision.
Exactly. These days, you don't just pick a burger, you run a cost benefit analysis. You're sitting there asking, do I want fries or do I want to retire someday? But hey, whether it's a dollar menu or a fancy tavern, as long as that burger hits the spot, I guess we'll occasionally accept the financial drama. Just, keep the gold leaf on the side.
Yeah, and that's only going to be when Luther's buying. Because when you buy, dude, we'll go to that restaurant. When I'm buying, um, we'll just have like fried bologna or peanut butter and jelly. Is that cool?
Honestly, that sounds like a plan. You bring the PB&Js, I'll bring the laughs. And if we're feeling fancy, I'll upgrade us to some deluxe grilled cheese. Who needs gold leaf when you got good company and bologna?
There we go. And let's head on over to this story. We're not really heading anywhere, but we're shifting gears because this just flows, right? There's another story that hit the internet that made people furious, and you're thinking, well, everything makes people furious these days, even puppies for some reason. Somebody's not holding the puppy right. Oh my God, that puppy's collar is too tight. Why does that? Anyways, there was a restaurant in St. Louis, Missouri called Crown Candy Kitchen. That's fun to say. That went viral in 2023. Why? Because they started charging customers 25 cents extra for ketchup. A quarter.
A whole quarter for ketchup. I mean, what is this? The ketchup stock market? But hey, maybe they're onto something. Next thing you know, we'll have a mustard futures exchange. Honestly, though, if a quarter gets people that worked up, I guess we've officially reached peak ketchup drama.
You're right. In a quarter, it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, right? But ketchup is just one of those things that people feel should just exist, like napkins, like chairs, shit, like gravity. Charging for ketchup, it feels like almost like somebody's charging for oxygen, right? And the restaurant explained they did it because of rising food costs. And obviously, condiment prices have increased. Supply chains were weird. Everything costs more. Customers, they don't care. People online lost their minds. Let's be honest. Ketchup, we talked about it, I think, last week. It's almost secret territory. I mean, I'm almost with it. If you really do need to change a quarter, just maybe add it into the price of the food, right? Don't charge a quarter for ketchup.
Exactly. It's not the quarter, it's the ketchup principle. You don't want to feel like you're negotiating condiments. Just quietly add it in, like, hey, this burger's 25 cents more, but you get all the ketchup your fries can handle. It's about the vibe. People want ketchup peace, not ketchup war.
I wonder how many how many people, how many irate customers who are being charged 25 cents for ketchup ended up stealing the bottle.
I bet a few folks left thinking, I'm getting my quarter's worth. This ketchup's coming home with me. But hey, if we start a ketchup back market, we've gone too far. In the end, it's just ketchup. Let's keep it off the ransom list, right?
Yeah, I mean, as irritated as I would be, the bottle of ketchup's not coming home with me, right? And hopefully you guys don't go start stealing bottles of ketchup. That's just crazy. But speaking of crazy, COVID 2020, restaurants everywhere, they switched to QR code menus. Let's be honest. The idea is simple. There's less contact, less germs, safer dining. But now people are starting to revolt a little bit because scanning a QR code for a menu, it sounds super easy, right? Until you actually try to do it. Now you're sitting there, you're at the table, you're holding your phone, and you're zooming in on a little teeny tiny PDF. You're scrolling, you're zooming, you're back in, you accidentally swipe, you go over here, and you're just trying to find an appetizer. Then your phone brightness is wrong, the internet's slow or doesn't exist, then you got to try to jump onto the Wi-Fi. Oh crap, the kid was on the phone, now my battery's at 6%. It's unbelievable.
It's like trying to crack a secret code just to get a sandwich. Sometimes you just want to hold a menu, no tech gymnastics. I mean, I came for dinner, not a software update. So I get it. Sometimes old school paper just wins, no battery required.
According to the Technomic Restaurant Survey in 2023, nearly 78% of diners say they prefer a physical menu. 78%. That's a huge percentage.
That's practically a menu revolution. I mean, when almost 8 out of 10 people are waving their napkins like surrender flags, it's a clear sign. We want to pick what we eat without feeling like we're hacking into the Pentagon. So yeah, let's bring back the classic non-scrolling menu and let my phone stay out of my dinner.
Listen, I'm a nerd. I like innovation. I like technological stuff, right? But I don't go to dinner to try to troubleshoot a website, right? And let's be real. It's just so much easier, and it's part of that tradition, that dining experience, to have somebody come up to you, say, "Hey, how's it going today?" Hand you a menu. "Can I get you anything to drink?" And that just feels right. That feels like what you're paying for. That's why you're leaving a tip. If you got to look up your own menu, probably go get your own glass of water. Who knows? Maybe go clean the toilets, wash the dishes, and cook your own food. Hopefully not in that order. Then why are we even going to tip?
Exactly. If I have to do a whole IT consultation just to order a sandwich, I'm going to expect a paycheck, not a bill. The charm is in the old school hospitality. So yeah, give me that menu, let me enjoy my meal, and I'll tip happily if I don't have to reboot anything.
I mentioned water, and here's something that I always find fascinating. Restaurant water service, because there are two types of restaurants in this world. Restaurants where your glass is never empty. They see a little bit, server comes by, fills it right up. And then there's restaurants where the waiter disappears into another dimension, or they're so short staffed that they're legit the only, server or waiter there, and you get it, right? And sometimes your water glass gets refilled every 2 minutes, and to me, when that happens, I feel like royalty. I'm hydrated, I feel respected, and those other restaurants, if you ask for water once, get an eye roll, and that's it, you probably are never seeing your water again. Your waiter vanishes like they've entered witness protection. And you're sitting there staring at your empty glass, chewing the ice cubes, trying to make eye contact with anybody who works there, right? And man, we've all been there, I feel. And again, it's not always their fault, but I mean, keep the customer happy, right? Happier customer, higher tips. Put it on a bumper sticker.
I'm telling you, that bumper sticker would sell out. Absolutely. Hydration is king. And a full glass is like a little hug from the restaurant. When it's empty, you feel abandoned in the desert. And yeah, sometimes staff are stretched thin, no judgment. But consistent water refills, that's hospitality gold. Let's be honest, a happy, hydrated customer is a tipping customer.
Yeah. Hey, you just said it. Tipping. Let's talk about it, because tipping, it used to be simple. You tip your waiter. That's it. Now, I feel like everything asks for a tip. Coffee shop. Hey, press the little button. You want to leave a tip? Food trucks. Hey, want to leave a little tip? Takeout containers. Want a little tip? Takeout counters. Hey, can we get a tip? Self-checkout kiosks. Hey, can we get a tip? That person that simply just handed you your pizza while everybody else cooked. Hey, do you want to leave a tip?
It's like every screen now asks, do you want to donate to my vacation fund? I mean, tipping is great for service, But when the robot checkout wants a tip, I'm like, buddy, you didn't even make eye contact. It's tipping inflation. Pretty soon, I'll be tipping my own fridge for just holding the ketchup bottle.
Yeah, there was a Pew Research, I believe, in 2023 that found that 72% of Americans say the tipping culture has been, well, it's just plain confusing, I guess, at this point. And I'm not going to lie to you, I agree.
I'm with you. It's like a tipping obstacle course these days. You order a coffee and suddenly you're trying to calculate percentages like it's a math test. Honestly, clarity would be nice. Tip when there's genuine service, not when the self-checkout is silently judging me. Let's make tipping thoughtful again, not a pop quiz.
I mean, I went to a place just yesterday where I wanted a cup of coffee. I legit grabbed the cup myself, poured the coffee myself, walked up, and went to pay for it. I mean, the person pressed the button. I had to grab the cup, fill the coffee, put the sleeve on it, put the top on it, walk over, tap the card, and then be on my way and asked for a tip. Now, the person apparently was having a really bad day. All right. The wife wanted a refresher. They were out, wanted this, we're out, they were out, they were out. Settled for another cup of coffee. So, again, we made our own coffee, which, whatever, that's how the setup is. Not complaining about that. But apparently the dude was having a rough day. Somebody threatened him. And things weren't going his way. So there was like one of the few times that I felt, hey, old boy needed a tip. And they flip it around 10%, 18%. It was a $5 charge. The old boy got $5 on me because he needed it. And I think in those scenarios, you know, sometimes you just got to put a smile on somebody's face.
You know what? That's the kind of tipping I respect, when it's not about the coffee, but the human moment. Sometimes the tip isn't for service, but for giving someone that tiny win. And hey, you made that dude's day with that $5. Sometimes it's not about the button, it's about the human touch. Nicely done.
Hey, thank you. And I'm not out here trying to say, oh, I'm such a great guy and all this stuff. It just, I feel like, you know, every once in a while, if you have the means and you have great service or somebody just really, really, really needs that extra little bit of a tip, then just go for it. What's your standard percentage of, you know, tippage? If it's mediocre, not good service, not terrible service, and do you tip the same, I guess, if it is good, mid, or terrible?
For me, if it's just a normal, decent experience, I'm usually in that 18 to 20% range, pretty standard. If it's great, I'll bump it up because I love rewarding awesome effort. But if it's awful, like truly awful, I might drop down to 10%, but I rarely go lower. I figure even if it's bad, they're probably having a rough day, and hey, we've all been there.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I 10% is about as low as I would go. And there's no way I'm ever not leaving a tip, even if it's god awful. I mean, because if it's that terrible, I'm leaving before the meal even gets that bad. Been there, done that, moved on. But I know we've moved on, but I just want to go back to one more expensive meal story, all right? Because one of the most expensive restaurants in America is a sushi restaurant in New York called Masa. Chef Masayoshi Takayama probably said it wrong, but I'm pretty confident, and I might not have butchered it too bad, runs the place. And dinner there costs about $750 per person, before tax, before tip, which means dinner for two is easily around $2,000. And I'm sure the sushi is incredible, but if I spend $2,000 on dinner, the sushi better change my life. I mean, it's a meal that you don't even have to cook, right? And I'm not a sushi expert. I'm rarely eaten sushi, but if I'm going to spend that money again, maybe a flight, maybe a spiritual enlightenment, personal growth, and I want the tuna to tell me my future. Besides that, now I'm broke.
For $2,000, I'd expect that sushi give me a pep talk and maybe a life plan. But hey, at Masa, you're paying for edible art and probably enlightenment. Still, at that price, I might need a side of financial counseling. But hey, if that tuna whispers life advice, maybe it's worth every cent. Just as long as my bank account survives the wisdom.
And here's the funny thing. In my opinion, some of, if not the best restaurant experiences, they happen at the simplest places. You know, the local diner, the pizza shop, the small town restaurant where everyone knows everyone. Those are the places where the food is great, the prices are reasonable, and nobody's charging you for ketchup. Sometimes the best meals still come from places where the cook knows your name, knows your parents, knows your uncle, knows your friend, right? And the menu probably hasn't changed in 20 years. And dang, is it still good. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm thinking about doing a new segment, a new, not show, but a segment or a playlist or whatever it is on the tubes. And I want your opinion, Luther, and I want anybody listening to give me an opinion. I'd love to start doing some stuff locally when I go out to eat, when I go to a restaurant, when I go to a business. Maybe it's not even a restaurant. I want to just walk in and I want to give you an experience that I do. I see things a little bit different. I do things at a restaurant not a lot of people do, the way I order, the way I interact, and I think it would be a really cool segment to feature some local places. I got a name, I got a concept, I just gotta know if I should do it.
Oh, that sounds like a must do. I mean, local spots have all the heart, and your unique take, that's golden. I say roll with it. People love authenticity. And if you're showing off your town, your quirks, and maybe a legendary ketchup policy, people will eat that up figuratively and literally. So yeah, go for it. Make your community the star.
All right. Luther's in. If anybody out here is listening, watching, and thinks I need to do it, please comment. 3 to 5 comments, and I'm doing it. That's pretty low. That's pretty easy. But at the end of the day, if you enjoyed this episode, give the show a follow. Please leave a review. Share it with someone who's recently been attacked by a restaurant bill. And remember, if you ever come to my house, there's only one rule. Stay out of my fridge. That's all we got. We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Knock, who's there? It's the podcast you adore. Stay out of my fridge. We're back, ready to explore. Got a tale to tell, gonna make you laugh, gonna make you smile. So buckle up tight, it's gonna be a wild ride. We're diving deep into your fridge where secrets hide.